The Hawai'i Sports Radio Network on 95.1 FM and AM 760 presents Wake Up in the Den with Ku'ule Agbayani.
Good morning, beautiful people. It's Wake Up in the Den. I'm Ku'ule Agbayani alongside Paul Brecht on the Hawai'i Sports Radio Network, 95.1 FM, AM 760, HawaiiSportsRadio.com, on demand wherever you get your podcasts, and every single Monday, streaming live on our YouTube channel. Hello and welcome to the show. Thank you guys for hanging out with us this and every weekday morning from 8 to 10, or as we say, every Monday on our YouTube channel. We got a lot of stuff to get into in just a second. We're just going to do an overall weekend recap because even though there was no football, there was still a lot of action in the world of sports, especially for all of us Hawaii fans here and keeping track of all of the stuff going on now that the Diamond Sports have officially started and are underway, at least for the Division II side. Division I, as we mentioned, softball gets started this week, Thursday, for the University of Hawaii. Baseball returns next week, so it just kind of rolls into everything. Of course, there's kind of that football game surrounding the Bad Bunny concert on Sunday, too, so there's that going on as well that we'll talk about. Album of the Year, Bad Bunny. Was it Album of the Year?
I'll be honest, I don't watch any of the award shows.
He won one of the major Grammys last night.
I was going to say, I just know he won an award, at least.
Yeah,
so
at least one of the major ones.
Bad Bunny.
Bad Bunny. So we're going to talk, though, about the Super Bowl coming up on the show. Of course, get into some of the fun prop bets and all of that stuff. You know, the anthem, the coin toss, the Gatorade colors, all of that fun stuff surrounding the Super Bowl because it's just, it's enjoyable chat. And then if anybody is interested in doing that stuff, go ahead. All of the people outside of the state, of course. So there you go. We'll get into some UH women's basketball and men's basketball stuff, major games for the Rainbow Warriors and Rainbow Wahine, talk some HPU baseball as well. So there's a lot to get into today, but I hope you guys are having a good day so far, and we're getting ready to take on another fun week in sports. Text in or chime in on the live YouTube chat. You can text us at 808-888-KGU1, 808-888-5481. So let's go ahead and get things started with a quick weekend recap of what happens. Now, last week, Friday, we were out covering the HPU baseball game, their opening day for the Sharks hosting Cal State LA. Unfortunately, didn't go too great for the Sharks. Lost by a lot on Friday, but it's okay. They were able to bounce back and beat Cal State LA 13-5. But the big significance about that win is that was head coach Dane Fujinaka's first 100th collegiate win as head coach.
Woo!
Congratulations, Coach Dane.
Let's go, Dane.
And just 4 seasons. It took him 4 seasons and a game to make it to 100 career wins because it's in his 5th season. So 4 seasons and 1 game of this beginning of the season. So shout out and congratulations to Coach Dane Fujinaka. We'll actually hear what he had to say following that significant milestone win coming up a little later in the show. So I kind of stumbled over my words there and said first win because on the flip side, on the softball side for HPU, shout out to head coach and first-year head coach Alex Takemura got his first win as a college coach. So the Lady Sharks are on the road. They beat Colorado Christian 5-3, and Coach Alex got his first win. Now they're playing in a tournament. It's been difficult. They're really testing themselves early. It's like pretty much all ranked teams that they are playing. And but they were able to sneak out a win there on the road. So shout out and congratulations to first-year HPU Sharks head coach and first-year collegiate softball head coach Alex Takemura for the HPU Sharks, getting his first win of his career and first of hopefully many this upcoming season. Also happening, if you guys missed it, it's so weird because they've been gone for so long. But the University of Hawaii men's volleyball team was in action. They came out with a pair of wins at Penn State. Pretty much only dropped 1 set to Penn State, and it was really cool. I don't know if you saw it on social media, Paul, or if anyone did, but Coach Charlie Wade actually presented the Penn State head coach that like the shark teeth paddle because he is retiring after this season. So I thought that was a nice moment, and he was gifted that, and it had like his name on it and everything. So that was really cool of Charlie. And if you guys missed it, you can check it out on, I believe I saw it first on the Penn State men's volleyball social media. So Rainbow Warriors. And yet we still got to wait like a month to see them back here at Banco Arena at Stat Sheriff Center. Like, why do they do this to us? Why are you depriving us for so long?
So I was filling out, anybody, longtime watchers of the show know, or listeners to the show know that I am as old school as it gets when it comes to filling out my schedule, because I have a desk calendar that I have to write everything out on. And so obviously with a new month, I flipped it over yesterday and I'm starting to fill out everything. Holy cow, February is filled.
Exactly.
And the thing is,
and I'm adding a little
well,
more.
I was going to say, the thing is, we haven't even gotten the HPU baseball schedule fully figured out yet for our broadcasts. If HPU basketball goes to the playoffs, that might also change the schedule. Not for this month, but go. Anyway, I'm doing all of this, and I'm like, wait a second. Men's volleyball only plays twice this month? The entire month? And neither of them are home. I feel incredibly robbed of an opportunity to go on a date to a men's volleyball game with my wife during February and use that as a Valentine's Day thing. What the? No,
nope,
I'm kidding. But it is kind of crazy where, I mean, and obviously part of it is the cancellation of the NIL tournament, and that is... maybe they add a game against UCLA or USC or, Calbat. I don't even know. But it is a little crazy. I think it'll be good, though, considering how many injuries this team has been dealing with, it seems like, in the early going this season. I don't necessarily mind having almost a full month off, especially before the meat of the schedule where there's some good opponents coming on in that they're going to be facing off against.
Yeah, and I get it. It's probably going to work out in the long run, but still, don't they think about us?
I mean, I'm going to miss them.
Come on. The fans miss you guys. No, but a lot of action anyways in Banco Arena at Stan Sheriff Center with basketball going on. It was a awesome Beeman's Big Bash on Saturday, coming out with the win, a nice convincing win, 67-44 for the Rainbow Wahine over Long Beach State. And shout out to Ella Collins. If you guys saw our social media or were there in attendance, I hope that it was one of those fun moments because the game was already in the bag, right? You just have a little over 10 seconds left in the game. Wahine up by 20. And normally, and we kind of talked about this when we were referencing last week and talking about the Irvine game, and the sportsmanship thing to do is when you have the ball with less than the shot clock worth of time left, you just dribble it out. But kudos to Coach Beeman and everybody there for kind of letting Ella play out that layup. And shout out to Ella for making that layup, because what a way to cap off Beeman's Big Bash. The crowd exploded because it got the Rainbow Wahine to that magical 67 number for that huge win. Everyone, like the crowd and of course all of the kids that were in attendance, just went wild as if it was the game-winning shot, as if it was like Hunter Erickson type of game winner, and it was just to get to the 67 points. And then the drama was like added to the drama because there were so many bunnies that were missed before that. To like, I think 3 shots that would have got them to the 67 number were like missed, and you could hear the crowd, oh, okay. Oh, and then lo and behold, got us to that magical number. They had it on the Jumbotron and everything. And I just felt so happy that it was someone like Ella Collins who, when in most games, when the game is still within the opponent's reach, she's not going to see the floor, right? And it was nice for her to get that moment and just a freshie, and for her to feel that like excitement from the crowd. for such a significant basket that didn't mean much in the game per se, but to the crowd that was in attendance that night, a season-high crowd,
It meant
a little over
everything.
2,700. It meant everything in the world to everybody that was there. I mean, I got on board. Like, we were all, we make fun of it, like, And we'll hear Coach Beeman a little later, but something she said in the post game, that's exactly how I feel. It's like, you know what? Yeah, it's silly. I don't understand it still to this day, but it gets people to have fun, so I'm going to rock with it too. Like, why not? It's not hurting anybody, so we'll just have fun with the whole 67 thing and whatnot, and that's just how I felt about it too, especially that night, to see everyone just get so excited. Shout out to the crowd again, just over 2,700 season high in attendance. Hope to see more of you guys start to come out during the season, because this team has really officially turned the corner. Try to get their get back on the road this week, Saturday, against UC San Diego. And if they are able to beat UC San Diego this Saturday, boy, oh boy, you guys, I better start seeing a lot more of you out there for Rainbow Wahine basketball, because this is a very, very fun team to watch. And we'll talk more about that game coming up a little later. Speaking of fun games to watch, but also very stressful on the men's basketball side, the Rainbow Warriors coming out with a win at Long Beach State.
Never doubt.
89-82. There's a little
Maybe
bit
a little bit of doubt. Not a lot.
A little bit
but
of
a
doubt
little
down
bit.
the stretch.
Just a small bet. Not for any big reason, just for small reasons. They wanted to make it interesting. We'll say it like that.
They made it very enjoyable a good amount of the second half. And then
I was going to say, I didn't enjoy the end until the final buzzer sounded, to be honest with you. But the second half, yeah, you're right,
like
for the most part.
Middle of the second half, you're like, oh, okay, this is great.
Oh, yeah. Okay, wait, this is the team that I know.
This is exactly what I thought. I on paper, I knew our men's team is better than their team. And although that first half, we'll talk about it extensively a little later, but I mean, Long Beach State could not miss from long distance in that first half.
God,
and
dude.
I was just like, I texted Paul, like,
Are they normally this good?
yeah, I'm like, are they? I didn't get a chance to look it up. And
No.
do they usually shoot
The
this
answer
good
is
from
no.
three? Like, what is going on?
Spoiler.
Luckily, they settled down a little bit in the second half, and the Rainbow Warriors were able to do their stuff as well, and but made it stressful. But nonetheless, at the end of the day, it was still a win. So we'll talk more about some men's basketball and women's basketball coming up a little later. Also happening this weekend, shout out to Kamehameha School's Kapalama beating Punahou 3-1 to claim the Division I state championship in girls soccer. And then on the Division II side, Pac-5 coming out on top once again, their fourth D2 state championship in girls soccer in 5 years. And they beat Mid-Pac 3-1 over the weekend as well. So shout out to the Warriors and the Wolfpack for claiming a girls soccer state championship titles. And coming up this week, just a reminder, this week Wednesday we will have OIA boys basketball championship action on Wednesday. Tonight is the Division I semifinals. That will be between Kailua and Midilani. And then on the other side of the bracket, you have Kahuku and Nanakuli in action there for this tonight's OIA Division I boys basketball semifinals. The semis for the Division II side was played last week, Friday. Kaimuki over Roosevelt and Waianae over Waipahu. So it'll be Kaimuki versus Waianae on Wednesday for the boys basketball Division II title. Games begin at 5:30 p.m. and you'll be able to hear both of those right here on Hawaii Sports Radio Network, or you can watch it via our friends at Spectrum. But that Division II game is going to be fun, honestly. Like, even whoever comes out of Division I tonight, yes. But from what we saw of Kaimuki, haven't got a chance to see Waianae yet, but they've been pretty dominant this season as well. So it's going to be a fun one on Wednesday.
I was going to say, we've talked about Waianae before and how they were the lone one to hand a couple of top teams in D2 their only losses through the majority of the regular season. So they've been pretty legit, but I agree. It's going to be a fun week. But I always expect them to be fun, and spoiler again, they always are fun.
Yeah.
That's why you should come join us on the air.
Woohoo! Whew. All right. That's about the gist of our weekend recap and coming up this week. So we're going to take a break. When we come back, though, we will start getting into, again, that football game that's kind of happening this Sunday.
I think we're allowed to refer to it as the big game.
Well, we are allowed to refer to it as the Super Bowl. Other brands that are not sports media have to refer to it as everything else but the Super Bowl.
The big
so
game.
we get to talk about it regardless. The football game at the Bad Bunny concert. That's how.
Bad Bunny.
Considering how I feel like this game could go, it might end up that way. Just like how there was a football game at, I think it was the year Bruno Mars did the halftime show, where it was like, there's a football game at the Bruno Mars concert for a Super Bowl Sunday. All right, we're going to take a break. We'll be right back on the Hawai'i Sports Radio Network.
Wake up in the den with Ku'ulei Agbayani on the Hawai'i Sports Radio Network, 95.1 FM and AM 760.
Ku'ulei Agbayani and Paul Brecht on the Hawai'i Sports Radio Network, on radio, on demand, on our website at hawaiisportsradio.com, and streaming live on our YouTube channel. Thank you guys for joining us. All right, we'll get into the Super Bowl conversation, more on the fun stuff. We have all week to talk about the game and all of that stuff, but let's start off with the fun stuff first.
Get to the analysis
later.
later.
We'll get to the actual stuff, but it's Monday. It's a YouTube Monday. Let's have a little fun first. But in all seriousness, for a little bit, the New England Patriots are the 5-point underdog heading into that game against the Seattle Seahawks, plus 195 on the money line, and the total set at 45.5. And I looked it up during the break because I was kind of joking that maybe there'll be a football game at the Bad Bunny concert on Sunday. And I had to look it up, and my memory, still got that memory going, Paul, that I was like, I'm pretty sure that was the case when Bruno Mars headlined the Super Bowl halftime show, because the joke was there was a football game at the Bruno Mars concert, because the Bruno Mars halftime show was like amazing, and it was probably one of maybe like my top 5 of Super Bowl performances. And so I had to look it up, and sure enough, it was the Bruno Mars concert that had a Super Bowl around it, because it was the Super Bowl in 2014, so that 13-14 season, and that was when the Seattle Seahawks, shocker, just annihilated the Denver Broncos 43-8. So those Seahawks, and that is kind of like a similar feeling that I have this coming Sunday. Now, you still got to play the game, and we've talked about it ad nauseum at this point, and I know Paul loves to hear it, how good of a coach Mike Vrabel is and how good of a quarterback Drake May is. But I still hold true to what we talked about when the playoff bracket was set, that whoever comes out of the NFC is going to be the Super Bowl champ, because this year it just didn't look like the AFC side was that strong as the NFC. And for the most part, the Seahawks are healthy, and it looks like it's going to be a pretty good Super Bowl. So I will be surprised. Like, I do think that the Seahawks are going to win by at least a touchdown. But that's why they play the game. So we will see what happens.
I am rooting for the ultimate downfall of the Patriots.
We all know who you're rooting for, Paul.
Hope
we already know.
You brought up that Bruno Mars Super Bowl.
Yeah,
I pray that is the performance that we get from the Seahawks, and it is just a smackdown. I don't think that's what we're going to get, but I pray that it is. It would make for a real nice Super Bowl
just
Sunday
be chilling.
for me.
It'll be the best
man.
because at the end of the day, right? No matter, even if you get to the Super Bowl, the point is to win it, obviously. And as much as Paul wants to like tip his cap at the fact that he always talked about Mike Vrabel being a good coach and was bummed that the Patriots picked him up.
Listen,
Same thing
I
with
like
Drake
being
May.
right, but
this will be like a perfect culmination for Paul this season because at least he was right because they were good enough to make it to the Super Bowl. But at the end of the day, they do not win. So that would be the best case scenario for our Paul Brecht here in studio when it comes to the avid, rooting for the avid continued downfall, even though they made their way back up, of the New England Patriots.
Yeah, those
being
poor,
that he is a New York Jets fan.
poor
Those
second graders in
those suffering
New England.
fans of the New England Patriots, right? Like,
Disgusting.
all right, taking a look at some of the prop bets that are fun to look at. These are just what you guys, even if you're not familiar with like the betting landscape, it's probably what some of you guys just hear in your everyday life heading up to the Super Bowl, right? How long is the anthem going to be? It's fun stuff to track if you're watching it amongst either at a sports bar or something or in the garage somewhere. You can always tell who is betting what during different parts of the game. And I think that's the most enjoyable part because it makes the whole game exciting from literally pre-game to like post-game with the Gatorade color and all of that stuff. So throughout the time, it's a lot of fun for looking at some of these prop bets. So let's take a look at some of the more common ones. So this is the national anthem, right? Like, let's kind of, and the national anthem, in case anyone didn't see, is being sung by Charlie Puth. Brandy Carlisle is singing America the Beautiful. Lift Every Voice and Sing is Coco Jones. And as we mentioned, Bad Bunny is the halftime show. Green Day is doing the pregame Super Bowl show, which is I'm looking forward to see as my high school punk rock era, one of the fun bands, which we chit-chatted a little bit about this, Paul. The discourse about Bad Bunny is
hilarious
considering that
yeah.
I don't think people realize what Green Day stands for and their songs are about, where I'm like, why is everyone freaking out about Bad Bunny? If you're worried, you gotta worry about Green Day. Just saying. So it'll be interesting. So let's see. Let me find the seconds. Hey, where did it go? I lost it. Okay. Length of U.S. national anthem, 125 seconds is the over-under, so just over 2 minutes. Charlie Puth, he kind of will drag it on. I don't know. Ooh, that's difficult.
Charlie Puth has like incredible musical talent.
Yeah, so
and
it could almost go either way. Like, it could go
chronically online. So I sit here and I'm like.
He'll be like Trevor Noah last night where he's like, I saw someone on the prediction market about me saying potato. And he's like, potato.
It's funny. It's actually really funny. I did not listen to the clip. I saw the clip on Twitter, but that's really funny. Man, just over 2 minutes, you said?
Yeah, 125 seconds is the over-under.
I'll go the under on that.
Under actually has the longer shot odds, so both are minus, but under is minus 135 and then over is minus 105. So I guess they're predicting a little speedier of a national anthem by Charlie Puth. Let's see, I like this one. The odds on this are insane. will a military member be shown during the national anthem? It's
Yes.
yes is minus.
It should be minus
10,000.
10,000. Yeah. I mean, and it feels like a mortal lock.
Yeah, you're like, yeah.
Like maybe it's just me as like thinking about how directors can pander to the viewing audience.
Yeah.
It's the easiest thing ever. Find like an 85-year-old veteran who is standing.
Yep.
Like it's just a slam dunk visual. Yes.
You have to.
Minus 10,000 might not even be enough. It might
That's true.
Need to be like a minus 100,000.
That's true. All right.
It's gonna be funny because now they won't show one.
The no's are gonna. Let's see. And that's the thing, right? Because it's yes, no.
Yeah,
like that's it. It's not.
There's no middle.
A second of like, within X amount of seconds. It's just
No.
straight up yes, no, and yeah, that would be pretty interesting. But let's go to the I guess the team side. Who will be seen first during the national anthem? You got and this is just in comparative, not overall. So you got Mike McDonald, head coach of the Seahawks, at plus 100, and then Mike Vrabel at minus 140. Clearly, they're going to show the Patriots head coach, and he's the more veteran head coach and all of that stuff. But I think that's a fun one, and it's pretty decent odds. Where I think
I would take
Mike Vrabel like for minus 140. Like,
I don't know. I kind of like McDonald.
Really?
There.
Ooh.
Just for fun, just because it's a little less expected. Because I think you're spot on. Head coach of the Patriot, and this is during the anthem too. Yeah. Head coach, I think you're spot on there. The veteran coach, but I don't know. McDonald's a little bit of like a weirdo, where he's got his game face on all of the time, and maybe they'll want that like intensity to like go into, because I don't know. I know Vrabel is intense
also
too,
the
but
designated home team, right?
Right, and that's kind of where I'm like, maybe they go McDonald first so that as they hit a particular part of the anthem, they can switch to Vrabel. I think I'm big braining this, so don't listen to me, obviously.
You kind of talked me into it now that I kind of talked myself into it too, thinking that because the Seahawks, though, are the designated home team.
You gotta make sure that's right? Super Bowl.
Yeah. So I'm like, usually they always show the home team first, I think.
Feels that way.
Mike McDonald, Super Bowl. And plus it's plus money. So if it's plus money, I'm like, why not? Paul's looking it up.
I am looking it up, just because I'm curious. I have gone down a far too different rabbit hole. Sorry. Never mind, guys. Patriots go all white. Okay, yeah, I think that's... Oh, wait. No, New England is the designated home team.
Oh, yeah, AFC. There you go. All right. Well,
all right.
Mike Vrabel it is.
I'm glad we looked it up. It was important that we got there.
Whew.
Seahawks are in their all-Navy uniforms.
Good job.
I will stick with my McDonald pick,
I will go back to Mike Vrabel because that kind of just talked myself into it, where it's like, all right, he's the Patriots head coach. It's the anthem.
Oh, no.
And they're the designated home team, so...
The Patriots are wearing all white, and apparently they're 5-0 this year in all white. Oh, no. I'm in. Though, to be fair, they played the Saints, the Jets, the Bengals.
Yeah, I was like,
the
we've already discussed
the Broncos
that there.
is the only one that I'll... And even that was Jarrett Stidham in the, tundra. So, still. Sorry, anyway, I'm dooming.
Coin toss is always like, obviously 50-50 odds, so it's not as fun, but they have some other like props here that I'm seeing about what will they elect. So if the Patriots elect or if they win the coin toss, the Patriots, the shorter odds will be to receive, and that's the same for the Seahawks. Yes, yeah. So sorry, longer odds will be to receive. I'm
like, really?
No,
I'm like,
no.
Man, I know a
Both
bet that
teams,
my family should put in.
Let's see. What will the Seahawks call during the coin toss? So this is a fun one.
Omaha.
Yeah. So there's always two sides, so they even odds on both sides for just either heads or tails. But then you can kind of choose what the Seahawks will call. So heads is minus 250 and tails is plus 170. Plus money. Let's go.
Yeah, the
But
Plus-
most teams always call because the trend is that the most teams call heads. It's just like that's
stupid.
the trend.
Haven't they ever heard that tails never fails? Idiots. No wonder these guys have brain damage. Just CTE, brother. Just they have an entire adage about it. Yeah, tails never fails, man. Plus money for tails.
I totally
I'm
forgot
taking
about
it.
the tails never fails.
I'm taking that. By the way, Seahawks are 6-0 this year when they wear their all college navy.
Then.
So
and they play a harder schedule.
yep. So I have decided that I am no longer dooming. What a great way to end this betting segment, or start to end this betting segment.
And there's a bunch more stuff, and we'll kind of talk about it throughout the week, and especially because this is a fun one to end it. The Puppy Bowl.
Oh yes.
Winner of the Puppy Bowl, the favorite with the shortest odds to win the Puppy Bowl is Team Fluff at -110,
Okay.
and Team Rough is -130. So, let's see which dog will score the winning touchdown in the Puppy Bowl. Let's see. The shortest odds is Whoopi at 5-1 odds.
Wow.
I got to read these
What
because they're
a
funny.
name.
No, this one is better. D-Bone Samuel.
God, I love it.
6-1 odds to score the winning touchdown in the Puppy Bowl, along with Beethoven, also at 6-1. Enrique is 7-1.
Oh, okay.
Demure is also 7-1, and Smoosh is 8-1. Longest shot, or there's a few. The rest are all 8-1. Paws Allen, Paws, Foxtrot, Kiki, and
love me?
Mr. Pickles at 8-1.
I think Paw Trot.
I would sprinkle a little
Paul.
on D-Bone Samuel just because that's a
Great
cool
name.
That's
All
a-
name
like,
team immediate.
That's the name that stands out to me. So, at 6-1, let's go D-Bone Samuel. Score that game-winning touchdown in the Puppy Bowl.
Whatever one you said, it's like Paw something, right?
Paws Allen, but spelled
Okay.
like paws.
Yeah, but that's close to my name, Paul. So there.
all right.
So I take that.
Paws Allen. Got
And
it. 8-1 for you.
Do we know who they play for?
I
Which
have
team? Because
No idea.
that-
Then you would take
I was
the
going
winner
to say
of the
then
Puppy
I would
Bowl.
that's the winner of the Puppy Bowl that I would take is the team that Paws Allen plays for. But just off name alone, I don't know. I don't think I like a team who calls themselves Team Rough. I know it's like rough bark, but
Yeah.
I'm thinking rough, like rough 'em. If you're that tough, if you're that rough, you'll let the play on the field do the talking. Team Fluff isn't insecure about who they are. They're going in there. They're happy. They're fluffy. They're winners. They're going to take this one as long as Paws Allen is on that team. And then if not, then I switch my.
Perfect analysis there by you for the Puppy Bowl. We might have to take some of these and put a little fun Paul's Parlor
Put a Paul's Parlor together for it.
for all of the beautiful people to just have fun with this, and then you guys can just for funsies cheer while you're watching the Super Bowl, and we'll go through some. I think that's what we'll do. Like we'll kind of put to some of these more fun prop bets. That way you guys can see it and play along also, because why not? All right, we are going to take a break. When we come back, we will talk some University of Hawaii basketball on the Hawaii Sports Radio Network.
Back to more Wake Up in the Den with Ku'ule Agbayani on the Hawai'i Sports Radio Network, 95.1 FM and AM 760.
Welcome back to all of you, the beautiful list of all the beautiful people. It's Wake Up in the Den, Ku'ule Agbayani and Paul Brecht on the Hawai'i Sports Radio Network, 95.1 FM, AM 760, hawaiisportsradio.com, on demand wherever you get your podcasts, and every Monday you can watch us live or on demand via our YouTube channel. So thank you for hanging out with us. We're going to talk some University of Hawaii women's basketball now. We'll get back into some more fun Super Bowl topics throughout the show. Also in hour number 2, we're going to get into some University of Hawaii football conversation because spring practice starts tomorrow. Woohoo! Woo! Forgot to kind of mention that in our opening segment that, hey, that's another big thing that's happening this week. We get more University of Hawaii football stuff and get to take a look at some of the new players coming in. So we'll get into that to start things off in hour number 2 for all of you guys. But I do want to make sure we talk some women's basketball. Again, the Rainbow Wahine coming out with a 67-44 win over Long Beach State. A beautiful game. I mean, they just seem to get better and better and start getting more confident. And Victoria Tamilo, it was nice to see her have a good game back as well as gaining that confidence back, being a bit more healthy now. So she's continuing to do her thing. Imani Perez leading the Rainbow Wahine with 15 points. But yeah, Victoria Tamilo, putting up 10 points, and she had, 10 blocks as well. So, 10 rebounds, not blocks. That would have been.
I was going to say,
she did have a block, but
wait a
10
second.
rebounds. 10 rebounds.
Even so, a double-double,
Yeah.
few blocks. This was Victoria's best game, at the very least, since the opening month of the season, and I would argue her best game of the season all around, not just from the way that she played, and Coach Beeman said this as well, where not just from the way she played, but the confidence in which she played with, and the swagger that we saw her play with again, and the decisiveness that we saw her play with again. It seemed more like the young woman that we saw towards the end of last season on that upward trajectory, and obviously she has been dealing with a nagging injury since the summer that held her out through training camp and kind of slowed her progression through the first semester. But man, oh man, if that's the type of Victoria Tamilo that they can get going forward, and I understand Long Beach State is not UC Irvine, is not UC San Diego, etc., but we hadn't seen her really do it at all. We'd really seen her kind of struggle to find her rhythm and her confidence, and finally we saw that in this game. And she's not the only one, but she was the one that stuck out a ton to me. Her, Jovi Lafotu, looked really, really good once again, and tell you what, if she can be, even if she's not a starter, even if she is like somebody who can only give you 10 minutes, 15 minutes a night, man, oh man, if that is the type of Jovi that you're getting, the confident Jovi, the attacking Jovi, the offensive talent that she is, it does raise the ceiling for what this Rainbow Wahine team can be ultimately by the end of this season, in my opinion.
Yeah, and like you said, even though Long Beach State isn't like you're comparatively to UC Irvine, a UC San Diego team that they'll see this Saturday, because they are a bottom of the half Big West team, beating them by 20 is what you should be doing when you are as talented as this Rainbow Wahine squad. So the fact that they were able to have this significant of a win over Long Beach State in terms of beating them by over 20, that bodes well for the confidence that they continue to grow. I think that's the main thing, right? You have a lot of these players now getting into their roles, getting more confidence. I mean, 6 straight Big West Conference wins, you guys. And in there, as we just saw last week, was UC Irvine. So it's not like they're getting all these wins stacked together against the lower tier of the Big West. And if they are able to come out with this win at UC San Diego, so a road game against the top team in the Big West Conference, that is going to be huge. Like, can you imagine that there is a very real world where the Rainbow Wahine is starting off the way that they did, 0-5 in conference play, and could riddle off like all wins from here on out? Again, still got to take care of business. It's still a long way to go, but it's very possible now that we've started to see them turn this corner, get more confident. Again, we talk about Bailey Flevel, how Coach Beeman had said last week, like now she's letting the game come to her. You're seeing more confidence by Curdy or Kiara Curtis, and they've just been really gelling. And now when you see the bigs start to do what we know that they can do, woo! Chef's kiss for this Rainbow Wahine basketball team.
Yeah, all of a sudden, this team looks like the preseason favorite that they were picked to be, right? Where, I mean, Bailey Flevel is a phenomenal scorer, and she only had 2 points in this game. And that is more what I think I took from this, where this team, who has struggled offensively at times this year, their defense especially has turned a corner, I think, where, oh man, if only I had an ability to look this up. But overall, their defense has been outstanding over this win streak, but even before then, like dating back to the start of conference play, they haven't allowed more than 65 points. And the offense is progressively getting better. If they get offense from their posts, if Ratoria looks like that, if Imani Perez is the aggressive version that we saw. I mean, she had 15 points in this game. It's the Imani that we like to see, and it's because they gave her opportunities, they gave her touches, and she was aggressive when she got those touches. Sanaya Neverson has been such an underrated key part to this team, I think. What she does defensively, what she does on the glass, what she does through those scoring droughts that they do have, she puts together these little key buckets that get them over the hump at times. I almost wish that they'd give her more touches, more opportunities. No, this all of a sudden looks on both ends far more like the Rainbow Wahine that we've come to know and love, especially over the past few years, except with a bunch of new faces.
All right, I want to let you guys hear what head coach Laura Beeman had to say following that game. And it just starts first with her talking about that massive end of game, the 67 moment that Ella Collins had, and here it is.
You know, if we hit 6, 7, 9 dudes, the roof was probably going to come off just because of the 6, 7 and all these kids in here that know what it is, and it is a big thing on all the social media platforms. So super happy for Ella to ride that layup out. No disrespect to Long Beach, you know, doing a layup, scoring a layup like that when you're up by so much. But if we wouldn't have let her do that, I think the fans would have come on the floor and maybe attacked us. So it was absolutely had to let it go. You know, there's nothing like having a great fan base. There's nothing like putting a lot of people in the seats. The energy they give these kids is phenomenal. You know, the chance of defense and the excitement for a block shot and all of the different things that occur when you have people filling up the lower bowl and our kids hear that noise, it just gives them some great juice and great energy. I absolutely love the support. I just feel so lucky to be the head coach at the University of Hawaii to have this kind of support.
This one felt kind of like Tori's best game in a while. What are you seeing from her, and how healthy is she feeling, you think?
She's feeling healthy. I think when Tori is confident, there's not a lot of people that can stop what she does, because she does things so seamlessly, just fluid. Amazing. Her touch around the basket, runs the floor. Just beautiful to watch her play basketball. Her boards, double-double tonight. I think this was her best game. Maybe it wasn't statistically, but the way she felt about how she played. And that's only going to compound in a great way for her.
Coach, really sorry to ask this question, but what are your thoughts about 6'7", like as a trend, and what do you think it says about like kids these days?
I don't think it's hurting anybody. You know, I think it's silly and fun. If it was hurting somebody, I wouldn't want it, and we wouldn't do a promotion. But if this gets people excited and they can have some fun over some guy's height or whatever it is, who cares? Let people have fun. And what we got going on in our world today, a little bit of fun, and everyone needs it.
Defensively, what's been changed?
Coach Flo is amazing. He breaks down our defense like nobody's business, and him and I align, and I absolutely love the fact that he's getting more confident in just doing what he needs to do on that bench. The kids love the way he teaches, and I think that the way he has broken things down, you know, kind of a whole part whole, I think they're starting to get it. And I honestly didn't think our team would understand our defense this early. I thought defense was going to be something that really was hard for us. They're starting to pick it up a lot quicker than what I thought. That can be really scary because these kids can get after it.
seems like every time you guys go on a run, kind of what did you tell the girls in the huddle, kind of like to spark the offense?
Keep it going. Ball movement. You know, when the ball moves, it has energy. When it has energy, the defense has to figure out who they're going to stop. Our bigs draw so much gravity as they're cutting to the basket. We saw a clip at halftime. There were 3 people on Tori and 2 people on Amani, and there were 3 of us just standing on the perimeter doing nothing. So our bigs draw a lot of gravity. We just have to continue to share the ball. If we do that, eventually it'll be inside touches, then outside touches, then kick outs, and run away to the basket.
Beautiful words to my ears to end it there with UH women's basketball head coach Laura Beeman. The complimentary basketball that this team is picking up speed that they are going to get to with their defense being locked down, and Coach Beeman saying that they're starting to pick it up now, because we've talked about this throughout the years. Like, they do, Coach Flo puts together a really good defensive scheme, and it's not easy to pick up. There's a reason why they're so good. It doesn't just take, oh, okay, you guys are just have quick feet and you move really well and you can close out on defense. No, they run like a certain type of style and a scheme that it takes you, like, could take players a little bit to learn it and get accustomed to it. Similar to, like, when you look at the LA Lakers and Phil Jackson's triangle offense, right? Like, there's a lot of movement to it, and you have to be able to everybody work seamlessly together for it to be what it is. So you take that thought process and apply it to the defensive side for this women's basketball team, that there is a scheme that goes along with it, and you have to be able to know it, and it has to eventually be second nature for it to work as good as it does. And shout out to those young ladies for picking it up quicker than even Coach Beeman thought they would. And hence, to your point, Paul, what you were just saying is that their defense has just been really shut down. But now if they start picking up with that offensive side, like Coach Beeman was saying, where now the bigs are getting more confident and everyone's going to try to plug the middle, but then you have perimeter shooters that can have any given day, and then you're just like kicking it out, going down low, and that's exactly what will make this team, should they get to that point, and they're getting there, they're progressing. Man, oh man, if their peak time is gonna come in that Big West Conference tournament, we could be seeing another Big West trophy being lifted at the end of that time.
Yeah, high quality trajectory for this team as they enter into February, and then obviously with eyes to March, you hope that this continues in the direction that it's going. I mentioned their defense before, purposefully, where, I mean, they don't allow more than 65 points, and I might have said in conference play, not including Bold Week, because that was so let's just say at the start of the new year, since 2026, the calendar year started, they have not allowed more than 65 points, and I do find that to be significant, notable, blah, 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 all of those different things, because I know it's corny, but defense does win championships, and this team especially has the ability to be defensively locked down. And we talked about it during the preseason, Koo. This is a different team from last year. Yes, obviously, the personnel, but if you look at the size of the guards, if you look at the size of the team, this is an even bigger team than last year, because you have a Bailey Flevel who is, instead of 5'8", she's like 5'10", and then you have the ability to play the Twin Tower lineup of Ratoria alongside Imani, and then you can also play Sanaya out there at times. It's a fun team with offensive ability that we always knew was going to come through. They're bigger than a lot of other teams too, which helps. Now that they're finally maturing on the floor together, yeah, I would be scared if I was the rest of the Big West.
Yeah, and we'll see. Like I said, the Rainbow Wahine and Rainbow Warriors off this Thursday, a little bit of a bye week. Back in action on Saturday. Both sides taking on opponents that they want to get their get back. So Hawaii women on the road at UC San Diego, the top team right now in the Big West Conference, 10-1 in conference, and their lone loss coming at the hands of UC Davis, who is now number 2 in conference at 9-2. So, like I mentioned earlier, if the Rainbow Wahine can come out with a win at UC San Diego, whew, it's going to be a fun one down the stretch here in the Big West. All right, we're going to take a break. We'll be back to close out hour number 1 on the Hawaii Sports Radio Network.
Wake Up in the Den with Ku'ulei Agbayani on the Hawai'i Sports Radio Network, 95.1 FM and AM 760.
Ku'ulei Agbayani and Paul Brecht on the Hawai'i Sports Radio Network and streaming live on our YouTube channel. All right, got a couple of texts that came in early on. Friend in Boise texted in like an hour ago before we jumped on the show. Happy Monday. Said, any chance we can get the crew that built the WWE stadium in Saudi that has a capacity of 30,000 to build the new Aloha Stadium? Question mark. Looks like it only took them 35 days. Yeah, in Saudi Arabia, they built that really fast. But I got news for you in a way, though. But there's a lot different labor laws in Saudi Arabia than there are in the U.S. And also in a lot of countries. I don't know how to best to explain this, but even like when I talk to one of my good friends of mine who is from Taiwan, and she's actually ironically she's like in constructional engineering here in Hawaii, and she even said though, she's like, yeah, you guys do it really weird in the United States in that you guys get paid to build things like by the hour, and yeah. People are allowed to slow things down, and people like sue each other for whatever, hence what we're seeing with the rail. But in like Taiwan or in China, it's like not like you get paid, like the companies get paid when the job is done, essentially. So you're like, yeah, you get paid throughout or whatever, but at the end of the day, it's like you don't get the big check that you need until the project is entirely done. And I can imagine that's similar. And same thing, labor laws also are different in other countries. So, yeah, unfortunately, because I do kind of tend to agree with you, but long-winded way in saying
probably
that
not.
Different countries, different country, different circumstances in terms of how things are done and construction is done at other countries, unfortunately. And that is kind of the price we pay, quite literally, for what it happens.
So I guess I'm a little confused. It's a temporary stadium?
Yeah.
How does that work? How does it? Isn't every stadium technically temporary? Aloha Stadium's technically temporary.
No, it's like a Ching temporary type
I follow what you're saying, but I don't know. First off, $30K for a temporary stadium is nuts.
Yeah.
Also, I don't know where I'm gonna go from here.
Yeah. So all that to say, it's not necessarily about the.
Maybe
Gov Green's rich friend is from
That's
Saudi.
funny as hell. Oh my god.
I mean, they got a lot of money there, so their money obviously works in America. We won't get into that. But yeah, maybe. But in terms of building stadiums really, really fast, other countries have different construction and labor laws than we do, and just do a lot of things differently. Hence why they're able to build a lot of things a lot quicker. Just like in Japan, how they can build their rail system really, really fast within a year, and we're still waiting here a bajillion
Basically,
years
we
later.
need people who actually want to get stuff done.
Yeah, and everyone
that's
just
not here in America.
Stop stretching it out. And anyways, all right, so all that to say, we're going to have to take a break. But when we come back, we'll get into some University of Hawaii football, and then also we got another text about asking us best and worst Super Bowl halftime show. So we'll get into that a little bit in hour number 2. But we got to take a break. We'll be right back on the Hawai'i Sports Radio Network.
back to more Wake Up in the Den with Ku'ule Agbayani on the Hawai'i Sports Radio Network, 95.1 FM and AM 760.
Welcome back to Wake Up in the Den, hour number 2. I'm Ku'ule Agbayani, alongside Paul Brecht on the Hawai'i Sports Radio Network, 95.1 FM, AM 760, and hawaiisportsradio.com, and our YouTube channel. Thank you guys for hanging out with us via YouTube every single Monday, so you guys can always go back and watch it on demand if you missed anything. In hour number 1, we talked some University of Hawaii women's basketball, some Super Bowl props, and had a lot of fun there. And coming up this hour, we'll get into some University of Hawaii football in just a second as spring practice gets underway tomorrow for the Rainbow Warriors.
I was thinking I was missing football.
Yeah, it is definitely like a nice little appetizer to Super Bowl Sunday as well. And then we'll get still continuing coverage, 15 days of spring practice coming up, and we'll have coverage for you guys as well. So we'll talk some University of Hawaii football in just a second. We'll also get into some UH men's basketball and some HPU baseball. As we mentioned earlier, that HPU baseball head coach Dane Fujinaka got his 100th win as a college baseball head coach this past Saturday after the Sharks beat Cal State LA 13-5 at Hans Laurent. So shout out to Coach Dane. And we'll also hear what he had to say as Michael Esquero was on hand to cover that baseball game on Saturday. A good little bounce back from Friday's afternoon's fun. So this is all good.
That's why you play 50 games in a season. You're not going to win them all. You're going to win some. You're going to lose some. But as long as you bounce back like that, it's okay to lose one like that every once in a while.
Oh, that's right. So before we chit-chat real quick about Super Bowl, we got a text about our favorite and least favorite halftime shows. Being that there was no Super Bowl or football anyways on Sunday, I did have to share this little funny, and I love that Michael had referenced it in our group text about it. Mr. TB12 and Tom Brady's little thirst trap Instagram stories of him saying like, oh, okay, major move from the couch back to bed. This is what Sunday is all about, with like the tongue out emoji. So this is what you do on a Sunday. Da, 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 da. But I think the thing that got the internet dying.
Sorry, I didn't see this.
I told you. Paul just saw it in real time.
Oh,
so
God.
The thing that got the internet dying with all of this, and those we're sharing it with you on our YouTube channel, and the internet was dying because myself, as a young lady, I can't even, because it's so true. Everyone's like, Tom Brady, who are we flirting with there? Because the way that he took the photos in his Instagram story is exactly, that's why it made its way through social media, is exactly how us ladies flirt with, those guys, the kind of photos we like to send to our partners or someone we're dating, with the little cute, like, oh, just get out of bed.
Oh, God, it's so funny.
With the looking at the camera with the cute little half smile with the cheekbones and a sweater on. And that is exactly what Tom Brady did. And it's like, so the ladies had a field day with it, because that's exactly what we do when we're sending flirty photos. That type of, even like the camera angles and everything. I'm like, Tom, I don't know who you're flirting with in the camera. Maybe he's flirting with himself. I don't know. He's a good looking dude still at 45 or whatever. Dead. Because that is exactly what ladies do when we're trying to flirt in the photos.
He's unreal.
So
Raiders minority owner, by the way.
Tom Brady giving us a little chuckle on our Sundays when there was no football to happen. And I did laugh out loud, literally, Paul, when Michael chimed in finally after not being ghosted or ghost silence for the most of Sunday, and was like, oh, I was having a Tom Brady Sunday. I'm like,
he's just Michael is so good at
I didn't know that was the
those.
first time you saw the Tom Brady.
No,
stuff.
I had no idea what you're referring to, and then I just turned to my right, and all of a sudden I see Tom Brady sending a picture that you'd expect like a 15-year-old to send. Is very funny. I just, it's not what I expected.
all
Lordy.
right. So earlier in our number one, we got a text asking about our best and worst Super Bowl halftime shows. They texted, Prince has to be the best. Purple Rain in the actual rain was cinema, 100%. And their worst is Black Eyed Peas or Maroon 5 were probably the worst. You know what? I don't disagree with you because I can't even remember what their performances were. So I don't even, I mean, I know The Weeknd was not that great either, not very entertaining. But the best, definitely Prince is up there because, yes, the singing Purple Rain in the pouring rain, and there's documentaries about it or people saying that when he was asked, like, oh, if he needs anything for the performance or anything more, he's like, can it rain harder? Like, Prince was all about it back in 2007. So that is definitely up there in terms of iconic, and I don't know if it can be beat. There were other good ones. I referenced Bruno Mars when he headlined it by himself, not with I mean, he was good when he was with Beyonce and Coldplay, but like when he did the highlighted one that ended up being, as I choked about it in hour number one, the halftime, the Bruno Mars concert with a football game around it, because that was when the Seahawks put a smackdown on the Denver Broncos for, what was it, like 46-8 or something like that. So that was one of my top one just because it was peak Bruno. That was before he did his concert here. He put his, like the genius move, put his concert tickets on sale the next day and it sold out everywhere. So I love that one. Michael Jackson obviously is up there because, I mean, the guy stood on stage for like a minute and everyone was cheering. He didn't do anything except look and then take off his sunglasses. Like that's when you know, or you're like a rock star, and when you don't have to do anything except exist on the stage and everyone's losing their mind. So yeah, that was definitely up there. I did appreciate Rihanna's one a couple of years ago just because I'm a huge Rihanna fan. I think like anything else with music, right, you're gonna like especially who your favorite artists are that are performing. Yeah. So it's like Rihanna, I know like people felt a certain way, but I love Rihanna, so I thought it was awesome because she played all of her hits. And then I mean, the Dr. Dre one and Friends being that it was in LA with all of the iconic stuff around it. So there's a lot. Yeah.
It's one of those where it's tough because I don't have a great way to defend either of my any of my choices ever. Cause like I see her, I really enjoyed last year's, like I really enjoyed Kendrick Lamar's. I thought it was really creative. Yes. I thought that it was very well put together. It was very well performed. I think part of it was you had the ongoing drama with Drake, and there was the will he, won't he address Drake directly, and you get that moment. So I enjoyed that. I also am just a massive SZA fan. Like, I love SZA. So the fact that that was the special guest and whatever, I was a big fan of that. But I've really kind of enjoyed the majority of the ones in the 2020s. Like, I thought Usher was fun. Though we did complain. I remember complaining about Usher, like there should have been even more. Anyway, we love Rihanna. I enjoyed the LA one with all of them because Dre, Snoop,
50
Eminem,
Cent, Upside Down.
It was pretty great. I guess The Weeknd, was probably my least favorite of them because of the 2020s. Because I'll be honest, I don't really remember all of the one. Maroon 5 was not good. And it's funny because I actually love Maroon 5. Me too. I was pretty disappointed in that, but that's kind of how it goes. Outside of that, I don't really remember back in like 2016, 17, 15 even. And no, I remember Bruno Mars. Just kidding. That's about as far back as your young memory bank goes. I know the Prince performance. I have watched the Prince performance. But also, that 2007 performance, I was 7 years old. So, that also might have been the Super Bowl that I had a gushing bloody nose from, like, halftime on. So, I was sitting in my aunt and uncle's kitchen trying to stop the blood. So, I do not have as many memories, I guess. But 2020's been fun, at the very least, for me.
Yeah. Oh, another one to do a real throwback. I remember at the time, like when I think back to like my younger self watching some of these performances, I definitely, and it's a good thing because I had to like be reminded of this. The 2001 throwback when Paul was just a little baby. The Aerosmith, NSYNC, and Britney Spears halftime is definitely like peak my like teenage years that I'm like, this is the best Super Bowl halftime ever, because NSYNC and Britney Spears were like staples in my music childhood, and then Aerosmith was iconic too. Like I was old enough to appreciate Aerosmith.
NSYNC, Britney Spears, Mary J. Blige, and Nelly were the guests. That's a star-studded crew, dude. And even like I'm saying that as somebody who didn't get to fully appreciate it in their prime. Yeah. Like that, I can't imagine my reaction in that era. Yeah. So I get that feeling for that.
So that was definitely just in real time my just growing up and watching the Super Bowl. That was for sure. I'll have to look up who played in that Super Bowl, but that was definitely I don't even know if there's a football game going on. It's just the concert, like at this point. So that was probably one of my favorites just because those are artists that I like, especially NSYNC and Britney Spears during that time. Was super iconic, and they all did Walk This Way, which is really cool. And I'm going to have to go like look it up on YouTube after and just like watch some of these top Super Bowl performances that I like. So yeah, those are some of the ones. And like our texter mentioned, and we were just saying, I just referenced Black Eyed Peas and Maroon 5 as being, probably the worst because I honestly cannot remember any part of it. So it was probably bad because when they're good and iconic, I'm like, oh yeah, I can totally, like I said, I could remember back to Britney Spears and NSYNC and Aerosmith. Like, yeah, that one sticks out in my head. The other ones, I'm like, that's forgettable.
I remember now. When I was growing up, we would go over to a family friend's house to watch the first half of the Super Bowl. And we would normally like leave around halftime or after the halftime show. And I remember being a kid, I was always so ready to go back to our place to watch the second half of the Super Bowl that I think for the most part, I did not care about the Super Bowl halftime show. I'm like, get me home. I'm ready to go. Whatever about this stupid music performance. I've changed my opinion, obviously, now as an adult.
Yeah. But like you said, even the more recent era, I mean, Shakira and J-Lo were fun.
Yeah, oh, dude.
So I like, as you guys know, I like to have dance parties in my living room. And every now and then I will pull up that Super Bowl to have a dance party too, because you just keep going the entire time. And between them and, like I said, Rihanna, like you can just play the track. I think that's what I love about Super Bowls, when they have artists that have like hits that I like the musical artists I like, because then it's a nice little remix of all of their hits. And I think that's why I like Rihanna's, because it was just like hit after hit, and I'm a huge Rihanna fan. So and then she teased us because normally there's like a big announcement with some of these halftime shows because the artists perform for free essentially. So you're like, oh, maybe that means she's gonna release her album. Like, no Rihanna album. It's okay.
Was she pregnant during that time or something? Was that the joke? That it was
so
like
she announced that she was pregnant. Yeah.
But it was it actually like came like a couple weeks after or something like that. Like it wasn't really even an announcement in the moment. It was like,
yeah, but you could tell because she did the belly rub,
right? A little thing where you look back on it. Yeah. Okay.
So it was just kind of funny because that was her guest performer was in her belly, because everyone's speculating, right? Who was going to be the guest? Is Jay-Z going to be on stage? Blah blah blah. And like, nope, it was just Rihanna, and her guest was her baby, her stomach, which is really cool. All right, we're going to take a break. When we come back, we will get to some University of Hawaii football as spring training begins tomorrow.
Time.
We're saying finally, even though they start the earliest in any other college football. So, but yes, finally for us.
About time.
We get some University of Hawaii football. So we'll talk about that when we come back on the Hawaii Sports Radio Network.
Wake Up in the Den with Ku'ulei Agbayani on the Hawai'i Sports Radio Network, 95.1 FM and AM 760.
Ku'ulei Agbayani and Paul Brecht on the Hawai'i Sports Radio Network, 95.1 FM, AM 760, hawaiisportsradio.com, and streaming live on our YouTube channel. Thank you for hanging out with us. All right, we're going to talk some University of Hawaii football as spring practices begin tomorrow. Football. Oh, I'm so excited that we get to talk some University of Hawaii football.
I forgot to put that on my calendar.
No.
I gotta go put that on.
No, fail.
Oh, God. I got to throw the entire thing at... No, kidding.
Yeah, throw it out the window, dang it.
Got to go buy a new one.
But no, it does begin tomorrow. Over the weekend, though, they kind of really took the mission mindset and special forces mentality to another level. And the football team went out to Bellows and actually did kind of like that military-style training, left campus super early in the morning, went down there, did like where they're training in the water and everything. So that was really cool to see. You guys can check it out on their social media at Rainbow Warriors Football. So that was really awesome. And because at least it gets it's as if that mentality wasn't already there. This is quite literally them having to go through this training before their own practices even start. So I think that was significant to point out. And you know what? It's a different style. We always talk about the different types of training that you can do here out in Hawaii that you can't do going to a lot of other institutions. So that to me was like really cool and special and unique. That isn't something that can be regularly done at some of these other FBS institutions. So that was cool to see. A shout out to associate head coach and coach of the linebackers, Chris Brown. He had a little shoulder surgery over the weekend.
Is there such a thing as a little shoulder surgery?
Well, especially when you're a big dude with a lot of muscle to get through. So I guess
his shoulder is about the size of my head.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Any thought of surgery sucks. Shoulder surgery in general is even worse. So when I saw that, I was like, man, I hope he recovers quick. And I'm sure he will because he's like Wolverine. Dude, I can't believe he was injured in the first place. It's just like, whatever.
Yeah, and
he's unreal.
According to Steven Tsai's write-up that he just published yesterday, you guys can check it out at staradvertiser.com as well. But behind the paywall, though, so it have to be a subscriber. But he also told Steven Tsai, because he was asked about it, and said, quote, cut my shoulder off and gave me a new one. And basically, it was referencing the fact that he did not miss that early morning training at Bellows because he's like, says, quote, if I'm teaching you guys about the mission mindset, it wouldn't be right if I weren't here. So kudos to Coach CB, got that shoulder surgery last week and was out there early morning, because that's true. And I think that bodes well. But we talk about this with the coaching staff, and especially Coach Timmy Chang, where he can recruit people to be like, hey, you can forego some of these other opportunities and play in such a unique place in a unique environment because I did it. That's exactly what Coach Timmy did. So it's nice to see. And that's what a lot of young people, I mean, shoot, even us older people like to see. I just like when people live up to their word. They walk the walk, they talk the talk. It's more meaningful and it makes you more trustworthy. So shout out CB and again, all of the coaches out there, because this is part of I'm sure a big reason why they're able to attract some of this top talent that's coming in, because all they had to do was turn the corner and get those wins. And I mentioned it before, now recruiting is less difficult. It's never going to be easy, especially in this day and age, but it's less difficult because the coaches were already there. They know what they're doing. They're great people. This is a great program, great fan base. But you had to start getting the wins because as much as we talk about money, there's still a lot more people and players that just want to win games and go to somewhere that they will be a good environment. And we see that proof in this transfer portal, and we'll see what's going to be out there this coming week.
There's a lot of talent out there. And going back to CB, I appreciate him making the effort to still be out there even post-surgery, because I know that a lot of people wouldn't. And I agree wholeheartedly where if you are going to preach this, militaristic level mindset, if you are going to preach this dedication to the mission together to the young men that you're coaching, that message rings a lot louder and clearer and more genuinely to these young men, if you are out there when you don't have to be, when everybody would make every excuse for you to be home recovering, it is something that I find to be important, but it does go to what the coaching staff has built and the trust that players can have in the words of Timmy, in the words of CB, in the words of all of these guys, DT, Anthony Arsenault, all of them, Ursua. I was going to say, if we're talking about people being brought in. And yeah, I'm excited to finally get a chance starting this week to see some of these new faces, yes, but also to see which guys were kind of waiting in the wings, just looking for a chance to get on the field, because I do think there are some talented players that Hawaii was able to retain, or some talented players that could have easily hit the portal and probably found playing time somewhere else, but now are going to be in some position battles here, and that's exciting to watch. It starts tomorrow, but it's something that we're going to be able to keep an eye on, not just through the next 2 weeks, but through summer camp as well, and then even through the non-con is when things like that still continue to get figured out.
Yeah, so let's take a look. Again, this is via Steven Tsai, Star Advertiser, and staradvertiser.com. Has kind of a breakdown of the different position groups. So we'll kind of just give you the cliff notes on some of the stuff he did and encourage you to go read the full write-up with all of the details here that was published yesterday. So starting off with the quarterbacks, this was a significant piece that Stephen has in here, that Timmy Chang plans to limit the QB room to just 4. So again, still keeping that small QB room like he had this past season. Obviously, QB1 is Micah Alihado, a freshman Micah Eugenio. He is here early as an early enrollee from Bishop Gorman High School. And then there is the Virginia transfer, Bjorn Jurgensen. And then they expect to add a walk-on quarterback ahead of training camp this summer. Going over to the running backs, I like to see one of the names on here that we were always talking about, Paul, out of Farrington High School. So a part of the offensive portion for the running backs this past season was utilizing Landon Sims and the versatility, and as it's referenced here in Steven's write-up, the bully ball style that Landon Sims brought. So this spring, UH will see whether freshman TJ Fo'ilefotu or Sitani Mikaele can be that big back, the bully ball style back that's going to succeed Landon Sims. And we saw it, last spring practice with Sitani Mikaele just like pancaking someone and just running through them. And we were like, whoa, hey. And then we were kind of already thinking like maybe that could be in the future. And we shall see if that continues what's going to happen this spring. So those are kind of the two guys to look out for as we go in the spring. Again, someone to try to succeed that massive role, the do anything guy. The bully ball will run you over, will like get a bunch of yards after contact, all of that stuff that Landon Sims that we're losing. Cam Barfield obviously is still here. He'll be that guy to get a lot of the touches, but it'll be who will be that bully ball style guy. So I think these are two names that will be fun to look out for here coming up in the spring. Yeah,
going back to the quarterbacks quickly first, glad that Alejandro is going to get an opportunity to kind of rest and get healthy. That is the biggest key to next season, is that he is that. It also just gives you a benefit where Micah Eugenio and Bjorn Jurgensen can come in and both of them can get reps right away and learn this offense, get the feel of throwing the ball to so many new faces, kind of what Luke Weaver was able to do last year. But in the case of the running backs, that room is the most talented I think that it's been in Timmy Chang's time, and that's not disrespect to Landon Sims. But even with him leaving, I do feel pretty good about the bodies that they have in there, because I thought we saw Cam Barfield take a step forward. I think Devon Rice is incredibly dynamic as an athlete and can be fun in this offense as well. And then you have multiple big bodies, and it gives you the opportunity where why not be able to use both of them? You know, and I'm sure that's their hope, and you never want to rely on a true freshman or whatever, but I do think TJ Lefutu will be pretty darn good at the college level. I like his mindset. I like the way that he plays. Sitani Mikaele, we've been watching him since he was right down the road at Farrington, do exactly the role what we're talking about, though, which is run through people. And he has done that at a very high level and done it over and over again, snap after snap, which I find impressive. So them having multiple options will be important. Them finding somebody to succeed Landon Sims, though, will be even more important. Michael pointed this out all the time last year, to his credit. Landon Sims was sure a good, productive back, whether it was catching passes or running the ball. He was also a really good, important blocker.
Yep.
So it's going to be important that one of these guys is able to take a step, at least one of these guys is able to take a step forward in that sense to help the offense be as productive as it possibly can be.
Yep, and shoot, Nate Ilawa was at Farrington helping out with the coaching and stuff over there. So if Tanya Mikaele can be like a new and improved Nate Ilawa that we got to saw back in the day for UH, I mean, I always talk about them like Wes Keeley-Keepy as well. Like that, whew, those are some fun guys to watch just run over people. But yet, being their size, they were still like light on their feet and had a lot of quick movement. So, yeah, if that can be someone will stand out in that aspect, would be really, really fun for Hawaii fans. Right, taking a look at the receivers. Again, this is just kind of giving you the clip notes. Really encourage you guys to check out Steven Tsai's full article write-up at staradvertiser.com. But I thought this was a fun quote by receivers coach Jared Ursua saying, quote, probably the biggest win in the offseason was not losing Pafele. Agreed, especially after that massive game he had to close everything out in the Hawaii Bowl. He renewed his scholarship agreement. I like how it's worded here for the 2026 season. So that was a massive thing in terms of talking about the receivers only. But Hawaii adds a bunch of guys to go along with everyone that is still here. Now, we do know we lost, clearly, Jackson Harris. We saw kind of that coming, is at LSU. Brandon White's at Kansas State. And Carson Pupunu is here that lost his appeal for an extra season. Sad face.
That one's sad. That one legitimately made me sad.
That would have been really fun to look forward to having him out there. But added some P4 wideouts from the portal, Trey Griffiths from Oklahoma State, Devin Alves from Raw Tech, and Carson Brown from Iowa State. Bunch of other guys. And we look at the guys that are returning in Tama Uliata, saying here that he is the leading candidate to replace Nick Senecal at the right slot back. Titan Lakaden will be interesting if we see him gets worked in there. Also, Kai Carvalho, Koa Eldridge, Blaze Kamoku, and Washington transfer Audric Harris will get extensive reps at inside receiver. So I know a lot of people have been waiting, right, for Titan Lakaden out of St. Louis High School to almost start to get his reps in. And we're going to start to see that happen in this spring, along with Kai Carvalho, some of the local products here from Hawaii, and seeing them get worked in there. I think we'll get a lot of Hawaii fans. Should they be able to work their way up into some playing time when the fall comes, it's going to be fun to see in the addition, clearly, of Audric Harris coming in, see if he could be close to the Harris that we lost, and Blaze Kamoku continuing to do his improvements. But I thought that was fun to see Titan Lakaden and Kai Carvalho on here, because I remember last spring or fall, everyone's like, where's Titan Lakaden? How come it's like, we got a stacked team. He's a true freshman. We got to give it some time. So that's kind of a good name to see pop in here on Steven Tsai's write-up.
Yeah, it's nice to see. Another shout out to Michael. If you guys don't follow him on social media, I really do recommend it. He puts out a ton of awesome information about UH football. He's also long been an advocate of giving some of these local guys an opportunity to get more reps at wide receiver, whether it is Tama Uliata, whether it is Titan Lakaden, Kai Carvalho, etc., the Kamoku brothers, because it's not just Blaze, it's also Diesel after his transfer as well, where, there are a lot of different options where you can kind of play around and test and see which one pops. Tama is my favorite personally. I've watched him over the past couple of years really take quiet steps forward in every single way. I think he's the ultimate X Factor glue guy type of thing, where his punt return ability, his hands, he's the type of guy you want on your football team. So I can see why he would be the leading candidate to replace Nick Senecal. Or at least the position vacated by the graduation of Nick Senecal.
Yeah, so very fun and crowded in a good way receiving room there that I am looking forward to. I hope I can check out some spring practices. this is when I get really jealous of Michael because he just gets to go hang out at football practice. Well, wait a minute. I should make Michael fill in for me, and I'm going to go out to a football practice.
Aren't you the boss?
Yeah, like, wait a minute. What are we doing here? No. A couple more here. Again, this is via Steven Tsai from Star Advertiser, so you guys can go check out his article at staradvertiser.com. Just giving you some of the cliff notes. I think some exciting ones to look out for, too. Let's kind of look at the guys in the trenches, right? That's kind of the position group that we're mentioning that needs to be shored. And not only that, not only figuring out the starters, but just making sure you got depth there in that position. It's never going to be an injury-free season ever for guys in the trenches. So offensive side, let's see, Steven has in here former South Florida tackle Khalil Walker and Oregon transfer Lipe Moala have been enrolled at UH for nearly 2 weeks. At 6'5", 330 pounds, Moala can play guard or center. Let's see. So Ethan Spencer and left tackle Dean Brisky are the lone full-time returning starters, hence why you need to shore that up a little more. They have clearly some of the returnees, Judah Kyle, and then that San Jose State transfer, Daenerys DeRosa, is contending at left guard. Elijah Boogie Henderson is making a push for a starting tackle job as well. On the defensive side, we'll start with the coaching change. As we know, one of our favorite guys, Jeff Reinbold, it has departed to coach in Canada. And let's see, Lance Samuseva, a former UHD tackle, is expected to be hired as Reinbold's replacement. Let's see, eligibility expired, as we know, for a couple of the top defensive ends for UH and Jackie Johnson and Tariq Jones. Spencer Elliott, who transferred from Portland State, and Virginia Tech transfer Adam Tomczyk, a former junior college All-American, and Kaeo Akana are contending to be the defensive end rotation. So that's some of the significant pieces there for the defense. Again, there's a lot more that Steven has, between Steven Tsai and our Michael Escarol. You will stay up to date with everything that's happening in the high school to college football sphere of everything. And then the linebacker side, let's see, Wyndon Ho'ohuli has moved from defensive end to linebacker. As we know, Ho'ohuli is being trained for a more vocal role now. That's an interesting one. Jemai Otis, still recovering from ACL injury. Mateus Ioane will compete at middle linebacker, while Zayden Matatarangi and Junior Fiawi, and Julian Smith, Tasi Tadio, and Isaiah Pangofie are dime candidates as well. So Mateus Ioane is someone like 2 years ago when he was a freshman that Coach CB had said he is a guy to look forward to in the future. So he is definitely, now that I see him at the top of the list for expected to compete at middle linebacker, definitely going to have my eye out for him during these practices, because it's going to be a callback to what CB had said from the beginning, that this is going to be a guy that will be special in the future. And to see him pop up here in Steven's article, let's go. I'm excited to see this kid in action, and especially at the point where he's competing.
Yeah, I mean, I was not expecting to see many additions to the linebacker room because they have a lot of young talent, including Mateus Ioane. I'm really excited to see which of these guys really pop, both in the spring. It's kind of hard to do it in the spring, but also as they go into next year, because good linebackers or great linebackers can take your defense, at least in my opinion, can take your defense to another level. And conversely, not good linebackers can make it so that your defense feels a little bit flimsy. So one, it's nice to have a few options for them to compete. And two, I trust the coaching staff to develop these guys. Chris Brown notably knows a couple of things about playing linebacker.
Just a bit.
And Dennis Thurman has an idea of what the defense needs from its linebackers and so on and so forth. So, yeah, curious, and it's going to be especially important. I understand Jemai Otis is expected back next season at some point, despite suffering a significant injury pretty late into this year. I do think it's pretty important that you have a couple of guys step up so you're not rushing him back. If he's back at the start of the year, great. But if he's not ready to go, you don't want him pressing and feeling, man, I got to be out there so that we win these games because we don't have any other option at linebacker. You'd love if a couple of these guys step up and give him an opportunity to be like, okay, I want to be 100% when I'm back on the field.
Should have known better and thought like one segment would have been enough to talk about all of this.
Foolish.
But we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we'll get you what you need to know. Again, this is via Steven Tsai of the Star Advertiser. When it comes to the DBs, that's another room that we had talked about, the secondary just getting annihilated in terms of eligibility and graduation, just having to replenish that secondary for this football season. But we'll talk about that, and also specialists. Also, Hawaii getting losing some significant pieces in the special teams core. So we'll talk about that next when we come back on the Hawaii Sports Radio Network.
Back to more Wake Up in the Den with Ku'ule Agbayani on the Hawaii Sports Radio Network, 95.1 FM and AM 760.
Ku'ule Agbayani and Paul Brecht on the Hawaii Sports Radio Network. All right, finishing up our little update about University of Hawaii football via Steven Tsai of the Star Advertiser. You can read his full, extensive write-up of each of the position groups at staradvertiser.com. And I'm going to assume it's in this morning's paper, but I do not know for sure because I do not get the paper.
Okay.
So, but I know it's on staradvertiser.com via Steven Tsai.
I mean, he posted the thing on his Twitter, too, that it looked like it's on a...
Okay.
I would assume it's in today's paper.
Okay. Either way, Star Advertiser, staradvertiser.com via Steven Tsai. So we're talking about the different position groups. That's how he has it broken down in here. So Elijah, we'll do with the DBs now. Elijah Palmer, he is, let's see, I lost my train of thought.
Happens.
Yeah, he is the leader of the secondary. At this point, it stands losing a lot of pieces due to graduation, such as Peter Manuma, Kili Nahe, Mendiola Jensen. By the way, shout out to Nahe because he was one of the drummers for that massive intro that they had at Beeman's Big Bash on Saturday. So Nahe, and I joked with him. I was like, "Oh my gosh, you're here as one of the drummers," and I'm like, "Oh, you get to be on the other side now." So shout out to Nahe for coming out and volunteering his time to be one of the drummers for our women's basketball team. So that was really cool to see him there. Let's see, and also corners: Verdell Edwards, Devin King, and Jaheim Wilson Jones. Let's see, Matangi Thompson and Kona Moore are the next safeties up. Reese Weber and Ezekiel Rodriguez also will get significant spring reps. Makana Meyer, described by Coach Locker as a coach on the field, can play safety or nickel. And there's a bunch of guys that came in, including a guy coming back in Sibo Brown, right? Back from Virginia Tech. We knew how good he was when he was here for the University of Hawaii. So it'll be nice to see if he is even better than he was when he was playing here for UH, and they also got a couple of other young guys coming in. So that's definitely a position group that I'm going to have my eye on, with kind of similar to how I was talking about the running backs earlier and who will replace Landon Sims. I am curious to see this entirely new look secondary. But you know what? If there's any coaching staff that I can believe that won't lose a step from the last couple of years, it would be our coaching staff. Dennis Thurman is back. Thank you for continuing to stay, Dennis Thurman. Hope you retire here. Thank you. Not anytime soon, but this will be your last stop.
When you eventually retire.
Yeah. And as I mentioned, Coach Locker and all of the coaches on that secondary side. But yeah, this is going to be a group that will be interesting. Pretty much new faces all around in terms of starters on what's going to happen this upcoming season to go along with Elijah Palmer.
Just gut feeling, this is the position group that I look at as the biggest question mark. And I don't mean that in like a negative light, but in a how good can they be? Because if they're good, I think next season can be fun. If they're great, I think next season can be an all-time memorable one for the Rainbow Warriors. And the guys that they brought in are seemingly pretty high ceiling opportunities or players. I do like the guys that they are bringing back, though, because even if they're not necessarily guys that jump off the page as like, oh, wow, they've been because like you think about Peter Manuma. Peter Manuma was a 4-year starter.
Yeah.
As a freshman, he came in, he started, and he never let go of the spot. You don't really have that in Makana Meyer, Matangi Thompson, Conan Moore, but there's still 3 good players, productive players, and in a sense, it almost gives you a deeper room this year because all of those guys have gotten so much experience in the previous seasons that you look at a couple of the transfers that they brought in, and maybe if only one of those ends up hitting this year as like a high-level addition, you feel a little bit better because you have so much depth. So that is, like you said, that is a group that I'll have my eye on because, one, it's not like they're not going to be tested.
Yeah.
We just talked about how good the wide receivers are. But 2, there are the most question marks there in terms of change year over year from last year's team to this year's team.
Yeah, and we won't, unfortunately, we won't really be able to see much of Sibo Brown in this upcoming spring, as Stephen Tsai notes in here that he will be held out of contact drills while mending from a knee ailment. So we'll only see a little bit of Sibo Brown. But 2 more Bishop Gorman alumni are contending for starting corner jobs. Jeremiah Hughes transferring from Michigan State after beginning his career at LSU, and Jalen Edmond, who also can play nickel, previously played at Wake Forest and Washington State. And as we know, Kydell Stone and Jaron Altura are true freshmen enrolled in UH's spring semester. And then also in the secondary, we know Cody DeCambra is another significant piece there coming on over from UNLV. All right, last but certainly not least, the special teams unit. As we know, losing 2 significant pieces in All-Americans. Kansei Matsuzawa, wish him the best of luck coming up here in the NFL draft. And Billy Gowers getting poached to go to the national championship team in Indiana. So, you know what are you going to do? One guy's going into the NFL. The other guy's going over to the number 1 team in college football. I think that's a pretty good resume for the University of Hawaii.
All I'm saying is if I'm somebody in the portal, I was looking at Hawaii.
Yeah.
Punter, kicker, any special teamer. Not long snapper, though, because we are good on long snapper with Jack Maury coming back another year, correct? I believe so.
Yes.
Just Alex asked in our chat, so I wanted to get to that as we were on our special teams convo.
Let's see. So kickoff specialist Sean Elvera Harrell gets the first shot at replacing the Tokyo Toe. Let's see. Garrick Heel, a Texas transfer who was named after New York Yankees legend Lou Gehrig. Shout out, Paul. Yankees
Shout out,
fans.
Gehrig.
And Gannon Miller, who attended the Air Force Prep Academy this past semester, are competing for the punter's job. Heel also can be used as a point-scoring kicker and kickoff specialist. Again, this is all via Steven Tsai of the Star Advertiser, and you can read the full extensive write-up at staradvertiser.com. Or if you go to Steven's Twitter, he does have the screenshots of it. You just got to, zoom in.
You
But
got
it'll
good
get you
eyes.
there.
You can
Just because the
read it.
write-up, if you go online, it is behind a paywall. but he did post it. He did what the people want, and he posted it for free on Twitter. But you just gotta work for it, so it's okay.
Yeah.
But it's free though. You gotta work for it a little bit.
extra effort.
Or if you're a subscriber. But yeah, that's another. I keep saying, oh, that one I'm looking forward to too. Oh, this one. Oh, no, this one. Oh, it's all.
I'm
it's
looking
spring.
forward to
all of it.
Hawaii
Let's just go
football.
all of
Crazy.
it.
Who would have ever seen this coming? Do you think point scoring kicker just means like PATs, or does that mean like place kicker? Like he could potentially compete with Sean Oliver Harrell or whatever his name is. Sorry, SOH. Do you think like he could compete for that job just by that wording?
Yeah, that's how I take it.
I read it as, he's going to be in the mix potentially for kicking field goals along with extra points and whatever. But obviously the incumbent gets the first crack at it. So, no, I'm excited for this entire year. They did a nice job reloading after another fun year that saw people poach talent from Hawaii. And they did a great job reloading and getting ready for what is going to be a action-packed 2026.
Woohoo! Ooh, hopefully the Mountain West schedule comes out pretty soon. Getting so jealous, like all the other conferences came out. I'm like, where's the Mountain West schedule? And maybe the media rights deal, hopefully that comes out sometime soon, because apparently the Pac-12 one is not that great. So, joke's on you guys. So yeah, we'll keep you guys posted. We'll have continuing coverage from spring practices. Michael Escaro will be out there as well. But again, you can get a good preview here of what you can expect via Steven Tsai at Star Advertiser and thestaradvertiser.com. We're going to take a break. We'll be back to close it out here on the Hawaii Sports Radio Network.
Back to more Wake Up in the Den with Ku'ulei Agbayani on the Hawaii Sports Radio Network, 95.1 FM and AM 760.
All right, that's to be expected. Kind of flew by.
Yeah, where'd the rest of the show go?
It's because we sprinkled in some UH football. That's why. Thanks, Steven.
Sprinkle is a generous term
Thanks,
for what we
Steven,
just
for
did.
your awesome write-up that you did, that we had to talk about it with the beautiful people.
I don't mind. We always have time to chat some UH football.
I'm not saying it as an actual swipe to Steven. It's very, very sarcastic because he does incredible work covering especially the University of Hawaii football team. So once again, check out the full preview via Steven Tsai of the Star Advertiser, and we'll have continuing coverage for you guys as UH football spring practices get underway. The first of 15 starts tomorrow, and there's going to be a bunch of stuff this week. As we mentioned, UH softball gets underway this Thursday. So the Diamond Sports are underway, and we know on the HPU side, if you guys missed it earlier, we talked about how HPU baseball head coach Dane Fujinaka got his 100th win as a college head coach this past Saturday after their team bounced back from that big loss on Friday, the game that you heard here on Hawaii Sports Radio Network. And then on the softball side for HPU, shout out to Coach Alex Takemura, who got his very first win as a college head coach. So that was kind of neat how they both kind of happened simultaneously in a way where it's one guy who's been here in his 5th season now, got his 100th win as head coach, and now the beginning of a new era, a new career for Coach Alex, because this is his first college coaching job. Got his first win as head coach in a gauntlet of a softball opening schedule on the road. Like all ranked teams.
I was looking at their schedule. I was like, oh my God. Welcome to the big leagues, Alex.
Right away. Like, how would we just play all these ranked teams?
I respect it, though, and you're not going to improve if you don't play good teams, so they played some of the best teams. No, it was a really fun weekend in general. Nice for them to bounce back after what was a couple of tough losses to begin, and then HPU baseball doing the same thing after a brutal opening day performance, giving a little bit of revenge of their own to give Coach Dane a little something to celebrate going into this week.
I mean, look at this Concordia Kickoff Classic is where the HPU Sharks softball team is. They lost a close one to Cal Poly Humboldt 6-4, and then they got Coach Alex got that first win as head coach against Colorado Christian 5-3. But the other teams they played, they got a number 14th ranked Cal State San Marcos, number 17 ranked Cal State East Bay, and number 3 Western Washington. And then they did lose to Cal State San Bernardino as well, who is not ranked, but they have a good Division II softball program. So shout out to the HPU softball team and Coach Alex for really starting off the season on the high note. They do return home, but they don't play until next week, Friday, here at home to host Cal Poly Humboldt. And then to end off February, they do play a doubleheader to host Chaminade, and that's going to be at their new softball field. Sad face. It's going to be, I mean, I know we started going out there, but I still can't get over how it's not at Howard Aokita anymore for the home of HPU Sharks softball, but out at San Island Softball Field, where you guys can also get Chaminade, their home field as well. So Diamond seasons are here. I was out to see the intra-squad game between the UH softball teams, chit-chatted with some of them over there, or like Kara and Tots. And yeah, the expectation is this is going to be a good year. Like anything else, as long as the pitching holds up, I'm really excited to see Taryn Iramata back here at home. It's so different because usually Hawaii, UH doesn't have like a local pitcher. So I'm really excited to see, or I was stoked to see her come back because we covered her when she was at Campbell and she was phenomenal. And to see her choose to come back and see her out there in action yesterday was really fun. And I'm looking, or the other day, it's like, this is going to be a fun UH softball season and like a new era as well.
You think Campbell's success at the high school ranks recently had any reason for her coming back home? I think so as well. No, I'm excited for it. Rainbow Wahine softball, Rainbow Warrior baseball, Sharks softball, all of it and more. And you just got to follow us on social media, stay up to date with it.
Diamond seasons are here, and we're not even pal with the court seasons yet. But for now, we got to go. For Paul Brecht, I'm Ku'ulei Agbayani. Mahalo for listening. Bye!
KGUA.